104.5 The Team, your home for New York sports. Levac and guys, joined by Al Demarco. He's on foxsports.com and msnbc.com, Comcast Sports TV, current host of the Football Insiders TV show, and, of course, he's also got his site, sportswager.com. So, Al, let's rip the Band-Aid off. Why are the Jets only like a 2-point favorite over the Cleveland Browns?
Well, it's probably because one of the three of us are probably going to be quarterbacking the Browns this weekend. That's probably the main reason right there. I mean, if there's bad luck, the Browns have it when it comes to quarterbacks. I mean, you look at the face of this game, and I don't know how you can possibly put a line on the game. I mean, the Jets really should be favored by 7, but it speaks volumes of how poorly the Jets have played this season, and specifically how poorly Ryan Fitzpatrick has played. But the one thing I will say about Cleveland, despite all their problems, they haven't quit in any of their games this year. But the biggest problem they do have is that the Browns simply don't play any defense. Now, if the Jets can do what they did last week, which is established run, if Matt Forte can have another 100-yard outing, they should be able to run wild on the Browns, and I think the Jets have a great chance to easily cover and easily win this game. Again, with the unsettled situation at quarterback, Jets have a huge advantage here.
When we see games like that with the unsettled situation at the quarterback position, whether it be the Jets or the Browns or any other teams in the NFL, do we see more than action on this game in a week, or do a lot of investors, we'll call them, or gamblers should stay away from games like this?
No, these are games that people absolutely stay away from. I mean, because these are sucker games, and to me, these are games that I don't even bother looking at, because when you look at the card and you go, hey, there's 10 better games on the board, why do you want to get involved with one of these?
Al Demarco joining us right now, his site, sportswager.com. We'll get into that in just a bit. But is the Bills game, the Bills-Pats game, is that one of those 10s that you'd rather get involved with?
Oh, now, this is a totally different story. Let me tell you something. I love this game because if you don't think the New England Patriots have had this one circled on their calendar from the minute they lost 16-0 at home, and after having to hear Rex Ryan and all his bluster in the post-game press conference, now they got Brady. And if you want to have a game in revenge and you want to have a quarterback in Brady and a coach in Belichick in revenge, I'm all in, and I'm a buyer. And I've been buying the Patriots in all 3 games since Brady's return from a suspension. And the fact is, listen, I used the Bills 2 weeks ago as my best bet when they were home against San Francisco because I thought all the dynamics were there for a great play on Buffalo. They were going against a team in San Francisco that had the absolute worst run defense in the league. And you saw what Shady McCoy did. He had 119 yards, 3 touchdowns. Bills ran for, I think, 312 yards in that game. Last week, early in the week, I was on the Bills again. But the minute McCoy got hurt, that was a no play for me. Because even though Miami had the second worst run defense in the league, you couldn't possibly be involved with Buffalo in that particular game because of the injury situation. We saw how that turned out. Well, now here we are, midweek. We have no idea if McCoy's going to play. But more importantly, even if he was going to be available for the game, he's not going to be 100%. And to me, that revenge factor is all that matters in this game. I look at this game and I think to myself, my God, this is such a cheap price for the way the Patriots are playing. 6.5. I don't care that the Bills have dominated the series against the spread. I don't care that they won 16-0 against a third-string quarterback. To me, I love the Patriots. I used them as my best bet last week against Pittsburgh. They did not play well, but I think in revenge, this is a great spot to take them.
Al Demarco, you've seen his contributions on foxsports.com, msnbc.com, Comcast Sports TV, currently the host of the Football Insiders TV show. So, Al, with all those credentials, tell me why in the world would I watch Thursday Night Football, Jacksonville, Tennessee?
Shoot, I'm telling you. The only reason you want to watch this game is because it's probably slightly better than the Virginia Tech-Pittsburgh game in college football. But listen, every single game, it's a 50-50 betting proposition. So even if you go back to the Jets and Browns, somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose. That's why it's still ultimately better than video poker and fantasy football. And this game between Tennessee and Jacksonville tonight, I'm using Tennessee in the contest. I like the Titans in this game. It wraps up a 3-game homestand. They should have beaten the Colts last week. They barely beat the Browns after blowing a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter 2 weeks ago. They should have been in a position to wrap up a 3-0 homestand. I think that when you look at this game, the key for Tennessee tonight is going to be their ability to run the ball. Demarco Murray has had a nice season here for Tennessee. 3 times in the last 5 games, he's cracked the 100-yard barrier. Jacksonville just lost their top nose tackle, and they don't stop the run well anyway. The key for the Titans, will Mariota not turn the ball over? That's his tendency, especially at home. And Blake Bortles has really regressed in terms of his season here. 9 touchdown passes, 9 interceptions. Doesn't look like the guy that threw 35 touchdown passes last year. I mean, his passer rating, it's worse than Case Keenum. And that shouldn't make Jacksonville fans too happy.
We talked about how excited you were about the New England-Buffalo game. Is that your best play this weekend when it comes to the NFL?
I think that's probably going to be my best bet. And actually, no, I'm kind of vacillating back and forth. Listen, I'm based out of Philadelphia, so, I'm a lifelong Eagles fan, but I'm looking at that Eagles-Dallas game. And, I always tell people, you have to bet with your head, you never bet with your heart. But I'm looking at the Eagles-Cowboys game, and I cannot picture any way that the Cowboys don't demolish the Eagles in that contest. I think the betting public is going to get sucked into Philadelphia and grab the 4.5 points because they saw what the Eagles did against Minnesota. But this is a different dynamic here because unlike the Vikings, the Cowboys are going to be able to run the ball. They have a much better offensive line, so the Eagles' defense is not going to be all over Prescott like they were against Sam Bradford. So it's one of those 2 games, but the Patriots have been so good to me. They were money in the bank, and when you get steady deposits and steady income, it's kind of hard to go away from that good team. So I'll probably ride the Patriots once more.
Al, my steady income is always over for Texas Tech football.
Listen, steady income in terms of college football totals, any team, any matchup in the Pac-12, any matchup in the Big 12, just ride the over every single game. I don't think they ever heard of the word defense in those 2 conferences.
So are you looking at maybe one of those over-under plays or regular point spread play for the best play in college football this weekend?
In college football, I'll tell you what, I was looking at Navy tomorrow night. I think that's a great play for Navy, taking them against South Florida because that's a game that they're a 6.5-point underdog, and I think they're just going to run through South Florida just like Temple did last week and upsetting the Bulls at home in Philadelphia. Navy did the same thing to them last year. And then on Saturday, there's a couple of interesting games. I like the revenge angle in college football. You find Baylor in that situation at Texas. Auburn is going to be in that situation at Mississippi. You have Michigan in that situation against Michigan State. That's the ultimate revenge, perhaps. So at this point, it's one of those 3 games. Just haven't quite figured out which one. That's the beauty about college football. You can find your games. They marinate all week, and then finally on Friday you kind of pull the trigger.
Levac touched on this a bit earlier, but you do run sportwager.com. Listeners here in the Capital Region, if they haven't used your site, what can they get using your tips and everything to hopefully cash in and win some money?
Well, right now, if you go over to sportswager.com, you can get a 1-day free trial pass where you can get my top play of the day and the plays of all 10 handicappers absolutely free, and there's no strings attached. So you simply go, you click on the button, you get the 1-day free trial pass. And I think it's kind of a cool thing because what better way to see what we have and what we can do for you than to get everything for free? You can't beat free, and that way you can see all the analysis, and everybody has a different take on games. That's the unique thing about having 10 different handicappers that are based all across the country, and that's over at sportswager.com.
Al Demarco, he's the studio host, the current host, I should say, of Football Insider's TV show, sportswager.com, the place to get his insight. Al, we appreciate your help today.
Thank you so much, guys. I enjoyed it.